Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw with Insider Travel Report, and today I'm here with Joseph Forsmeyer, who's the managing director of Round Hill Hotel and Villas in Jamaica. And we were supposed to get together with Joseph at ILTM Con, and things didn't work out as we were just talking before we started. It was one heck of a show and a really busy show for all of us. So the saving grace is that we can do this with Zoom. The one drawback is I'm not with Joseph in Jamaica right now. I'm back home in the New York area, and Joseph's down there. And threatening to send me a newsletter about how wonderful things are down at his resort. But anyway, you're going to find out about all this and more on Insider Travel Report. Joseph, first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And I'm sorry we didn't get together in Cannes, but glad that we could make the time now.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to get together with you. And I agree. I mean, it was probably the busiest ILTM I have ever seen as well.
Now, let's talk a little bit about your property. One of the reasons why we wanted to interview you is that you have a historic resort. Let's talk a little bit about that history, which is now celebrating 70 years in business. That is amazing.
Yes, sometimes Claire Opal, my marketing strategists, know that I'm not too happy about 70. So we call it the Platinum Jubilee. We are going to celebrate longevity. But what's really exciting, James, is that the fact that it has gotten better and better over the years, yet stayed true to its original concept and philosophy of being this refuge for people that have it all, be it luxury, be it society, be it that sort of specific niche, like a club-like atmosphere that provides you with great villa vacations and a hotel within a full-flanked service resort that has everything from water sports to tennis to golf nearby, and great food and great wellness, and is as relevant to the young generation of today. And we've just come through a very busy Christmas and New Year with everything from small children that were having a great time and are ensuring that their parents will come back next year. So it's as relevant today as it was in 1953 when we opened our doors.
Amazing. Now, you weren't there in 53, I assume.
No, I came a little. I've been there for a long time. I almost feel like part of the furniture. As you can hear, I'm from Austria. Originally, I have this tremendous Austrian accent that I just never lost over my many years in Jamaica. But I came to Jamaica in 1979 and have been at Round Hill since 1989. So
Wow.
yeah, I have a little history with the place.
I gather. So you've seen it grow up during the 90s and the 2000s. That's excellent. Now, tell us a little about, just remind us where Round Hill is located and how easy it is to get there.
We are about 25 minutes or 12 miles west of Montego Bay, directly on the ocean on the way to Negril. So it's easy access. As you know, Montego Bay is the main hub for the tourism travel into Jamaica. We get 62 daily flights out of most North American gateways, so which is tremendous based on the fact that you can get here really easily out of New York area, 3 hours and 17 minutes flying time actually until you hit the sunny beaches of the island. We sit on our own private peninsula of about 110 acres, so we are very, very well sort of positioned with beaches and ocean views galore down the west coast of Jamaica. And so we can provide you with that kind of exclusive serenity on one hand, but yet close to all the major points that you wish to visit, be they attractions in town or in the hills or on the south coast of Jamaica, the west coast, and or close to your destination from the airport.
Now, and it is a resort for everyone, right? Families, couples, singles,
Yes,
whatever. You fit everybody.
Absolutely. We have always celebrated the entire sort of breadth of whoever wishes to have a peaceful, relaxing vacation from booking rooms all the way to grandiose villas. It's all available to you. And families have always been sort of our mainstay of our audience.
No, that's fun. That's fantastic. Now, what does the resort look like today? How many keys do you have?
We altogether, we have about 140 bedrooms, and those are located in 36 hotel rooms and 27 villas. And as you can see, the villas go from 2 bedrooms all the way to 6 bedrooms, different categories, the classic, which celebrate that original Round Hill style that was so very special to people like Noel Coward and Lord Rothermere, who bought into it in the first place, that celebrate the best of Jamaican furnishings and decoration, all the way to a signature style, which is sort of elevated and as new to the estate, which is sort of the most grand house that we do have. That's the largest cottage on the property. And so it gives everyone an option to either celebrate a little bit of the history and or also make it the most luxurious that they ever wish to be in.
Now, in terms of dining, what are the restaurants you have on property?
The great asset of Round Hill is the fact that it does bring all these different elements of accommodations together in a club-like atmosphere, right along the water, right along the beach. We have our seaside terrace and our cocktail bar, and then we are proud to have one of the owners as Ralph Lauren, who owns 2 homes in Jamaica at Round Hill, and therefore he has been a tremendous influence in our style decisions, and therefore the bar at Round Hill is very much a celebration of Ralph Lauren's sort of take on Jamaica and English traditional furnishings. Very wide open, great entertainment, different foods are being celebrated, from your Jamaica night to your beach party on the water to farm to table and private dining in your villas and or on specific evenings on our separate dining terraces. So we can tailor it to your needs. But by and large, it really becomes sort of this wonderful club-like atmosphere that allows for guests to come out of their privacy of their cottages and their villas and celebrate together, have cocktails, and sort of be a little sort of transported back into that very sort of beautiful times of the 50s, late 50s, early 60s, when we had our first beginning of tourism in the Caribbean, when people made an effort to dress up, be sociable, listen to great piano music, dance under the stars. And that's sort of the element we're trying to celebrate. And having just come through a very, very busy Christmas and New Year period where we get almost 90% of our guests return every year, it's exciting to see how well that memory plays for the young people as much as for their parents and their grandparents.
Now, obviously, you have pools and spa and things like that as well, right?
Absolutely. The villas come with their private pools. We do have our main hotel pool as well, right on the ocean with a double-edged infinity, where you can be in the water, yet you overlook the beach, so that you connect to all the beach users together with the pool users, so nobody feels left out. And then the villas give you that sort of spectacular privacy, and your private pools in there, and obviously, and the spa that sits on its own 10 acres on the water with that we purchased about 25 years ago. It's in an old great house, an old plantation house that was converted into a beautiful spa space. So it's not just a spa; it's a product that is quite unique. It has received many accolades because we have converted that beautiful old plantation home into a spa building where your treatments take place, your reception takes place, your relaxing spaces take place. Plus, it has a fantastic pool, and right next to it on the water is a gym which is equipped with the highest possible equipment that you can possibly wish. I always said, everywhere else, gyms get put into the back of the house or into a garden setting. At Round Hill, we put it in prime location, right on the water, probably the most expensive real estate, and it's all beautiful glass pavilions, and it makes you sort of watch nature rather than sort of looking at your screens.
Well, it sounds like the kind of gym that might get me to actually go to the gym. So that would be important. Like that. Now, let's talk a little bit about we talked a little bit about the target guest. It's really for everyone, but who is kind of your target guest for Round Hill?
Well, as I said, we try to be as relevant to all ages, to all families. We also to singles, to couples. We obviously look at the North American market as our main market, because we do have an amazing airlift into Jamaica, and therefore we benefit from that greatly. But we also have about 25% of our business out of Europe, which has been traditionally a strong market for Roundhill and for the Caribbean in general. And so we try to mix up the different nationalities, the different cultures. We welcome also a very healthy Jamaican audience as well. We have a well-established middle and upper middle class in Jamaica that certainly can afford luxury vacations in their own resorts. And so we have a very, very good and solid support system also out of Kingston, which is our largest city that has 1.5 million people. And Kingstonians tend to sort of go to the North Coast, you know, to splurge and to hang out and have vacations. And so it's also beautiful at New Year's Eve, you know, when we do invite also outside guests in that participate and celebrate with us. We also get a good 30-40% of our guests from Jamaica, and that sort of creates that lovely, vibrant ambiance as well.
Well, sure, and that's very important. And with the history that you have, I'm sure that they've known it forever. Now, let's talk a little bit about, you know, how you have been around for 70 years now. How have you managed to stay on top? And I mean, obviously, there's so much more competition now in Jamaica and elsewhere in the Caribbean. But how has you know, Roundhill managed to stay on top during all that time?
Well, it's so true, you know, but it's a great compliment, one, to our founder's philosophy, John Pringle, who dreamt up this place as being sort of this refuge, this hideaway for people that had everything. So you didn't have to ever impress anyone with the latest style. It was all about having a certain Jamaican simplicity, open air living. I once asked John Pringle, what defines luxury at Roundhill? And he says, well, Joseph, it's living with indoor furnishings in an outdoor setting. And that's really what we represent. And that kind of feeling that is possible on the peninsula, because the way we are sort of very protected from weather, we have these glorious views. And then he built on top of that this demand by persons that could go anywhere, could own homes anywhere, to buy into it. And that's my ownership and our shareholdership. And they originally, yes, were leaders in society and banking, mostly from the UK and North America. I mean, Noel Coward is a name that was synonymous with Roundhill in the early 50s. I mean, somebody who set the trends. Bill Paley, the founder of CBS Television, was another name. And then Lord Rothermere, the newspaper magnate from the UK, they all started to buy into it. And then as the years progressed, some of these homes were either passed on to the next generation, and they're still in the same hands of those founding families, or they were sold. And then we brought in fresh blood that was more relevant for a more modern take. A Ralph Lauren, a Robert Zemeckis, a Bob Pittman, founder of MTV, who now own homes at Roundhill. And therefore, they themselves bring in their connections, their friends, their families, and they give us relevance again for you know, the future. And they love it for what it is. And they love it, and they want to make sure that it is the best it can be. So therefore, we call it polishing the jewel. So we continuously improve on the product. We always invest every year to make sure that we look the best, we feel the best, we can provide you with the best services that, as you know, the world has adopted. I mean, our concept is now gone, you know, worldwide, and has become sort of the norm for great resorts, not just in the Caribbean, but in the Indian Ocean. And I mean, we just had a group from Germany, 19 persons fly in for a 4-day week of celebrations that usually goes to the one and only in the Maldives. And they decided, no, they're going to do Jamaica this year. And they're Germans that have known us. And it's exciting to see how we can actually hold our own, you know, with some of the latest and the best in the Far East, as well as in the rest of the Caribbean. And it's a never-ending challenge, but we are up for it, and we enjoy doing this.
No, that's great. And but a lot of people like that classic feel, that a resort with a history, with a background. And clearly you do have that. That's for sure. And you mentioned you're name dropping a lot of famous names. The first ones people may not remember, but we certainly know the more recent ones. And I know Noel Coward and people like that, but and know their reputation. But clearly, Ralph Lauren, everyone knows who that is now. Now, how are you celebrating this anniversary? Are you doing anything special, or you marking it with any events?
Well, we did sort of highlight the strongest sort of what I call the secret sauce of Round Hill. Throughout 2023, we celebrated our team, the people that on one hand built the resort with John Pringle and whose children and grandchildren now work here. So because the community around us is really what has given us that amazing loyalty from our staff that has been here for many, many years. And that was really one of the main areas of focus for celebrating our traditions and our history without sounding old. I mean, that's always been,
Yeah, I
especially
know
in the
you want to
hotel
say I'm
setting.
70 years old, but I'm not really that old.
Exactly. In a hotel setting, it's one thing to have age, but you don't ever want to consider to be the grande dame or to be old. I mean, you want to be many ways relevant and a trendsetter. And so, and that has been a very successful celebration throughout last year. And at New Year's Eve, we had this final big ball that we celebrated, and we brought a lot of the community participated with us, and it was black tie, and it was so exciting to see that you mentioned young people like to be have little tradition. I must tell you, when I first came here in 1989, it was really difficult to get persons to wear a jacket for anything. I mean, it was almost impossible. Now you can see these youngsters all dressing up in white dinner jackets. Yes, they may take off their shoes and run around barefoot, but it's really exciting to see how everybody made a real effort and looked absolutely spectacular. And Opal, I've sent her pictures already. It was magnificent how we celebrated the end of the 70th and going into our 71st year.
That's fantastic. It sounds like it was a wonderful event for that. Now, how can our viewers, our readers, travel advisors work best with you to make sure their clients and your guests really are happy with their stay at your property?
Well, we have a great team in North America. Lily Carr is our director of sales. She is on the road. She basically is one of the best known people. It was such a joy to be with her at ILTM in Cannes, because obviously, we have stolen her away from other very successful resorts so that she has all the contacts. And Lily is our warhorse out there. She is in touch with all the important consortia and the travel advisors, but also Opal, who has been in the business for a very, very long time, who has a very amazing network of contacts, who sits in Florida as well. And between Opal and Lily, they will always sort of be out there as be our front. We have great representation also in Germany and in the UK. I also join them occasionally. They allow me to come along on various trips to be out there to promote as well. But it's really a question of relationships. As you know, this industry is all about relationships.
Absolutely.
And trust and loyalty. And therefore, we are one of the first resorts ever to be in the Caribbean to become a virtuoso. Before it was even called virtuoso, Matthew Upchurch and his group sort of came up with this grandiose idea. It was called something different.
I was there. Allied Percival and API Travel Consultants. I was
API,
there in
yeah.
Vienna. I was actually there in Vienna when Virtuoso.
I missed the Vienna event when it was named Virtuoso, but I certainly remember my API days and the first meetings we've had. So it's just to be there, to be relevant, to ensure that you live up to what your promise is. I mean, you have to make sure that your product is at the highest and of the highest standard. And so you have to invest in it at all times and ensure that the guests that come from these wonderful connections in the travel trade are returning as happy campers, and they go back, and then they are going to rebook. And that's really what we do very, very well. We try to turn every first-time guest into a repeater and make sure that we make all our travel partners look really good in the process.
No, absolutely. Now, is there anything else you want to say? We now go out to about 126,000 travel advisors out there, mostly US, a smattering of Canadians. Anything else you would like to say to them about?
Well, I just want to first of all thank all of our partners, that have supported us over the many, many years. You mentioned the Valerie Wilson, and Valerie and I go back 40 years. I mean, so, she is the ground dam of tourism in many ways, and so are many others. And I just want to thank all of them for their continued support. And I promise them that Roundhill is better than ever. It's ready for their clients, and is willing to go the extra mile to ensure that they all return back home as happy guests that wish to return over and over again.
Now, final question, just how do we get in contact with you, your URL, other things that are going on in terms of what travel advisors, where they should go?
Absolutely. Just again, get in touch with Lily at roundhill.com, Joseph at roundhill.com, Opal at roundhill.com. Go on to our website and just stay in contact.
Fantastic. Well, Joseph, I want to thank you again. I'm sorry we didn't get together in Cannes, but hopefully at some point in Jamaica, we'll see.
Yeah.
And we will definitely we can maybe see the resort in full, but happy you made this time for us today to tell us about Roundhill, which is such a historic, such a famed property in Jamaica, and one that definitely all of you folks out there should consider when you're looking at booking Jamaica and also the Caribbean. Again, thank you so much, Joseph.
Thank you, James, and it was a real pleasure. And welcome anytime you have some moment. Just jump off that plane in 3 hours, and 17 minutes later, you'll be in paradise.
There you go. I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.